Welcome to the Conversations with Faith Leaders on Health. This series looks to be a tool specifically for faith leaders of any background looking to serve a variety of communities through either developing or sustaining an already established health ministry. I am your facilitator, Reverend Krista Forbes, and this series is hosted by Our Health Ministry and was developed in partnership with Morehouse School of Medicine's National COVID-19 Resiliency Network. Our Health Ministry is where faith, health, technology, and community intersect to provide trusted information, tools, and connections that support faith-based organizations. We will look to have a variety of conversations with faith leaders who serve different denominations and who are interested or involved with health ministries. Today, I will be joined in conversation with Denise Grant, Operations Manager with a healthcare system in San Bernardino County, California, and has also been an ordained elder in the Pentecostal tradition for 11 years. Hello, Ms. Grant. How are you today?
Good evening. I'm doing well. Thank you. Please call me Denise.
Oh, certainly will. Thank you so much, Denise. Well, thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. And I just can't wait to speak to you because you have such an interesting background. You know, you've been an elder in the Pentecostal tradition for 11 years, which is significant in and of itself. But you also have this health background. So when you think about having a viable health ministry, because many of our viewers are thinking about starting health ministries, what resources would you identify as being most beneficial in getting them started?
That's a great question, Krista. I think that it's very important to be involved with stakeholders and with organizations that can educate congregations and people as it relates to their health. And so it's also important to be involved with healthcare plans that can provide some of the resources financially, so to speak, for congregants and the community in order to be educated about some of the health issues that are prevalent today.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very, very great points. In your role as a healthcare administrator, and one who also, again, serves in ministry leadership, what suggestions would you make to leaders of health ministries who are looking to actually partner with healthcare providers? We've heard a lot since COVID and the pandemic, these collaborations, right? Where healthcare providers are reaching out to churches. So what would you suggest to those health leaders, those ministry leaders?
I would suggest that they would look at at a variety of different items in terms of involving their congregation with improving their health. I believe that spirituality and health is deeply connected. And so in all areas, you talk about physical, emotional, psychological, and even financial health. And it's very important that they integrate those aspects with their congregants and people that they're getting involved with. And those are stakeholders as well. I would say that Can you stop recording?
So in your role as a healthcare administrator and also, again, having served as an elder in the Pentecostal tradition, what suggestion would you make to health leaders and to faith leaders who are looking to get started with these health ministries, and they're also looking to partner with healthcare providers?
I would say that they should do a small or short needs assessment of their congregation. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. They can just sort of take a small poll and ask their congregation, what is it that's of interest to you? What do you think would benefit you? I know there is in the Black church tradition, there are many challenges with overcoming some of our health myths, I'll call it, and overcoming some of the trust issues that the community has with healthcare providers and the health system. But I think that it's very important to get doctors who are in congregations engaged. Though they can always be a great resource for the congregation. Do that short needs assessment or a small needs assessment in order to find out what's of interest. And it also has to start from the top down. In health ministries, you have to have the support of the pastor or the faith leaders in order to show congregations that being healthy is extremely important to the faith tradition because, our bodies are our temples. We house the spirit, and it's extremely important for us in order for us to go out and be those harvesters that we are called to be, those ambassadors for Christ that we're called to be, that we be healthy, healthy emotionally, healthy physically, psychologically, and financially. So it would, again, the needs assessment, coordinating with some of the providers who are in the congregations and finding out what's of interest and what are some of the prevalent concerns of the congregation.
Yeah, and that's a great response because too often we get in leadership positions and, some folks may say this is what you need and not realizing that, no, this is actually what we need, right? And so really meeting people where they are. And again, you mentioned because there are trust issues, there are myths that have been both taught and shared.
Yes.
And addressing all of that, all of those different social determinants and that really impact our overall health. And so with that, are there any other challenges, that preparing for health leaders or helping health leaders prepare for this launch, are there any other challenges that you could identify or connect with that faith leaders may face while they're going on this journey of developing a health ministry or getting started?
Definitely. I think that, a lot of times what ends up happening with our congregation, they don't want to believe that it's necessary to take care of themselves holistically and take care of themselves as it relates spiritually and how all of that is connected together. I think that it's important. I believe it's important that possibly some group work could be done. I was speaking with a provider about a week ago here in California related to some shared medical appointments, she called it, and group work as it relates to lifestyle changes, with diabetes, heart disease, and health maintenance, and lifestyle management as it relates to maybe weight, body mass index, getting IFOBs in order to detect cancer, colorectal cancer, those kinds of things. And so sometimes you want to see if people are willing to, when we're in this beloved community of the church, what we want to make sure that we are addressing is the community itself. What's important to the community, whether or not the community can come together in addressing some of their concerns, because sometimes it makes it a little easier for people. It's less scary for people if they can be involved in a group sort of setting with people that they know, and they can go along this health journey together.
Yes, yes. And absolutely. No one wants to be that to feel like they're by themselves. It's already
Correct.
whatever challenge it is, right? When you're talking about health, whatever the doctor has identified, you don't want to, oh, you immediately think I'm the only one feeling like this. So, what can
Mhm.
the body of Christ be? What better way than the body of Christ to actually be the body of Christ and not just be an isolated limb or an isolated organ,
Exactly.
but to really come together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the word tells us that we can't have any of what we have without the other,
yeah.
so it's important, in the community to have each other. And then physically, you can't operate without being holistic in your approach.
Absolutely. Well, my final question to you, as we can, because I can talk to you all day, but this last question I was thinking about, and particularly you as a health administrator, the past 2 years. God bless you, because we have been in a
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. You have definitely been a
Mm-hmm.
frontline worker, so thank you for your service there. And but
Thank
also
you.
during that time, in addition to hearing about COVID and the like, but along with the pandemic, we were made aware of the health inequities that many people of color were
Mm-hmm.
facing. Those health inequities
Mm-hmm.
really resulted in the spotlight being shown on the disparities that communities of color have been experiencing and facing for decades, generations upon generations, and that have also
Mm-hmm.
resulted in the high rate of COVID infections, the higher rate of deaths, even. And so, when we think about those types of inequities and disparities, particularly on people of color, Black, brown, yellow people, indigenous people, and the like, those can be very overwhelming. It can
Mm-hmm.
almost be a gap that we
Yes.
could fall into, right? So when you think about those known gaps, when we are looking to possibly reach healthcare providers, like your organization or others, when we're thinking about those types of organizations and those collaborations we've heard on the community level, how should faith organizations possibly prepare themselves to develop a long-standing partnership and relationship with those types of groups?
Mm-hmm. It's important to do research. It's important well, first of all, before doing the research, you really have to be bought into this concept of spirituality and health and
Mm,
how they are connected. The Bible gives us a plan for how we are to nourish ourselves holistically. And so it's buying into it first. It's doing the research. It's finding out again from your congregation what it is they need. And so when seeking out organizations with whom to partner for health information or health resources, you want to get at those organizations that have a vested interest in the communities of color. You want to get with the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Association, uh, the diabetes organizations. You want to get with organizations that are going to dispel those myths that have been so long standing in the community and be myth busters along with you and underscoring the importance of taking care of oneself so that they can help future generations and to claim the harvest that is there and making people healthier. So, I would say follow research,
mhm.
and follow organizations that have vested interest and have indicated that they are there to help communities of color become better and more holistic in their approach to life.
Yeah, I like that, myth busters together. And you're right, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of organizations have kind of are new to the scene. So it does take that research because you don't ever want members of your congregation or any community to feel like they've been, possibly targeted. You want that partnership. You don't want to feel any
Correct.
vulnerability with that. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Well, again,
Absolutely.
we can talk for much longer than this, but I want you to just
Hmm.
be able to again embrace the information you've shared. We want to be able to digest all of those wonderful nuggets. So I want to thank you so very much for your time and the great insight that you shared with us during these conversations with faith leaders on health in this particular series. I want to offer you and others to learn who are interested in learning more about developing or sustaining a health ministry, that please visit the Our Health Ministry website. And that website is at www.ourhealthministry.com. So again, thank you so much, Denise Grant, and we greatly appreciate you. Thanks again to not only participating in our conversation, but again, for all of the wonderful information you were able to share from both worlds that you have operated in. And we want to also extend our thanks and gratitude and appreciation to the Morehouse School of Medicine's National COVID-19 Resiliency Network, and who is a large supporter of this project. So thanks again. You be blessed and have a wonderful evening.
Likewise, and thank you for having me.